What up, y'all? Mr. Cruz here, another video. Today, what we're going to be working on is I'm going to show you guys how to create your own loops. So using MIDI to create your own loops and instruments and melodies and stuff like that. So we have the option down here where it says to drop a loop or an audio/MIDI file. And if you remember from earlier, MIDI stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface. Big fancy word. That just means that when you hit keys on a piano that you have like a keyboard connected to your computer, the program will register that as you playing notes on an instrument. So when you click down here, what's going to pop up for you is your Google Drive. And since I'm not going to be working with Google Drive just yet, we're going to ignore this part for now. So instead, what you're going to do is you're going to go over to Add Track. And so far, we've done Voice Mic, which is also the same as looking to browse loops. We've done Drum Machine. This time, we're going to go to Instruments. And here, the description tells us, use your keyboard or connect via MIDI to play virtual instruments. So we're going to be using our keyboard. That's the important part for us. So when you do that, this is what will pop up. Over here is you can change the name of the instrument. So for this one, I'm going to hit bell because that's the instrument that I have loaded. When you click the icon, just like when you click the icon on your drum kit, right, your drum kit comes up. When you click here, this is what will show up. So just like with our drum kit, it gives us the letters that correspond with the keys on a piano. But this is different. And actually, last time that I used BandLab, this wasn't a feature, which it's featured now. So this is pretty cool. But we're going to get to this in a second. So on the side is you have categories, and then you have your instrument, or I like to call them patches. So if you click the top one kind of gives you an overall general idea of what instrument you're looking for. So what category you're going to be working in. And of course, you can use this to also create your drum kits and drum pads and stuff like that. I don't use it. I rather use the sequencer, but you guys can experiment, and I'll show you guys what the drum pad and the drum kit looks like. But bass, brass, guitars, and all kinds of cool stuff. And here's where I landed on. I landed on percussion because I was looking for a bell sound, and a bell is a percussive instrument. And then when you click the bottom one, it gives you the different patches that you can use that are all percussive instruments. For MIDI device, we're not going to be using this because this means that we're plugging in a keyboard directly into our Chromebooks or our laptops or computers. And since we're not going to be doing that, we're not going to use that. So once you do all that, this is what will pop up. Yeah. So this is what will pop up. So actually, I think yours will look like, let's see. Yours will look specifically like this. So here's what the cool feature is about BandLab that I just found out was actually brand new. Is let's say I wanted to play an instrument. So here I'm gonna take the pitch off because what I want to see down here is I want to see the notes, the keyboard clicks, the keys on my keyboard that correspond with the notes. That's what I want to see. So I'm going to select pitch. I'm not going to select pitch. I'm going to have it off. So now when I press Z, it sees that it plays that. All right. So clicking plus or minus, and it also goes with your keyboard. If you click plus or minus, it'll move an octave up or it'll move an octave down. So if I'm pressing C right now, when I click octave down, right, it gives it a lower sound. So if I keep clicking it, oh, see, now it won't play anything lower than that, but I can go back to 3 where I was, or I can take it up to 4. But I'm gonna stick at 3. Sustain, it's kind of self-explanatory, but when you have sustain, oh wait, that's arrow up. Shift, yeah, it's the shift button. So if I have to hold the shift button, and then when I press a key, it's gonna sustain that note. It's gonna hold it, and it's gonna take a long time to fade out. So watch. Versus if I just press it. All right, it just takes longer for it to fall off. And here is the super cool part that I'm really excited about is you can pick what scale you want to make your melody in. So I've selected F for now, But look, here are all the scales that you can play in. And then here you can pick which chord you want to play. So what I would do is I would typically focus on like these first ones up here. So like these first, what is that? 4, 5, 6. So these first 6. I'm gonna go with harmonic minor, right? Because I usually like my beats to be in minor, in the key of minor. And then so when you do that, and again, I'm gonna take pitch off because I want to see the notes down here. So now it'll only play the notes that are in key of F minor or F harmonic minor. So now if I press V, remember G was also a note that we could play. So watch, when I press G, this is playing, but you don't see it down here. It's not being highlighted down here. The reason being is that the program is going to register G and it's going to move it to the next closest note that is in key. So when I press G and B, wait, V. Oh wait, no, never. Hold on, my mistake. All right, it's doing it differently than I expected. So what it'll do is down here, it'll show you which notes that you need to play, which keys you need to play in order to be in key. It's not going to move it automatically. So when I hit G, I'm still hitting the note, but I'm not hitting the note that's going to be in key. The reason that you want to do this is this kind of part of something called music theory. It says that, all right, there has to be a way for people to understand and people to know that when they're making music, which notes they should play in order for the song to sound good. All right, that's just kind of a fancy way of explaining what music theory is. So if I hit any of these notes down here, it's going to sound good and it's going to be in key. I'm not going to hit a note that's going to kind of throw it off and sound ugly. So if I did a loop, let's see, come up with a melody. Let's go with, let's move this down 1. All right. Let's see that. See, the next one would be I. All right, so I'm gonna hit C because that's C would be right here. And you see that it's being registered up here, which would be the same thing as if I were to hit I, right? You just can't see it because it's not like it's not giving me enough space. So I'm gonna hit C. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so now let's go ahead and try to record this here. So I want to have my metronome on so that I can, actually, I don't need my metronome on because I have my drums already. I'm going to hit this, and then once I hit my record button, it's going to count me in. If you remember this, it's going to count me in for one bar, and then I can actually start playing. All right, so let me see if I remember how to do this. All right, I need to have this open when I record because that's how it's going to let me know that that's how it's going to let me press the keys on my keyboard to make those instruments. All right. So let's close, and I should have recorded it, so let's play it. All right, so here's another thing that happened, is I hit a note that was not on B. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to go in here and I'm gonna have to edit it. So what I can do is when I select the notes, actually I'm gonna select them all. So let's zoom out. I'm gonna select all of my notes all at one time, and then I'm gonna go here to where it says quantize. All right, quantize just means it's gonna snap it to the closest grid so that it's gonna be in key. So you're gonna see a lot of these move at one time. All right, so you saw that. So now when I go back and press play, Actually, I think I'm going to change that to 1/8.